Shout out host Malik Stewart and our guest Kamden BeCraft.
Thanks for having me.
Live, let's roll it. Sweet. So before we even get started, Kamden, you've been the biggest fan of this podcast, and it's been completely unreleased, like just straight teased. So the support on 100% for an unreleased teased podcast. First guest of the new, our era podcast.
Yeah,
That's
rolling.
good. Set the tone low.
Yeah.
You know, everyone can build off that. So being first is good.
definitely. Yeah, we knew we could be better, so we kind of revamped it, got it going.
You'll hear those OGs at some point, though.
Oh yeah,
They're
yeah.
really nice. Those OG podcasts are really good.
Got to appease the algorithm, you know.
That's right.
Yeah, fix the mic.
Exactly.
So jumping right into it, man. I know you've been coaching since we graduated. Really, how did it feel immediately stepping into that coaching role right after cleats, I should say?
Yeah, it was different because you're coaching people that are the same age as you. You know, so you got to earn a little bit of respect and get a little bit of cred, but that comes with being an athlete too, and just coaching and seeing. You know, football is just a form of communication, really. You know, I mean, a lot of us know ball. It's just finding ways to relate to kids and doing something that you love doing. So you still get that competitive fix a little bit in you. So, in your first couple of years, you can throw the cleats back on and get out there and, you know, work them a little bit when you need to. But no, it was a blessing. I was really blessed with the opportunity that I got and that Coach Newsom gave me, and it's been 7 years now, so it's been good. It's been a good journey so far.
Sick. Yeah, we were doing Emory and Henry research all morning. So you're the quarterbacks coach over there, yeah?
Yeah.
Offensive coordinator /
Yeah.
quarterbacks coach.
Yeah.
I see you got 8 quarterbacks on the roster.
A lot.
Man, and the oldest being a red shirt freshman. How is the maturity aspect, kind of developing that quarterback from that whatever school he's from into a Division II quarterback? How does that look?
Yeah, it's, you know, depending on what scheme they come from, what, you know, walk of life they come from, it's a bigger adjustment for some than it is others. A lot of them for us have to figure out how to go to school and be a college student, you know, first before anything. But the speed of the game's different. A lot of the terminology is different. You find out pretty quick who just kind of has a knack for it, just really instinctual with the position, you know. So we had a lot of young guys, and you know, naturally, just kind of the way it is, they don't all, you know, always stick with it. Or we usually recruit a bunch of guys that can play other positions too. So it may come in as a quarterback but move to receiver or something else. Normally, you know, if you recruit a high school quarterback, you're recruiting, you know, probably the best player on the team. You know?
What are you looking for in that quarterback?
So again, you know, personally, you know, as far as just the first player we recruit is just a athlete, honestly, because again, they can play something else if quarterback doesn't work out. But you know, I think quarterback's a lot different than, you know, recruiting an offensive lineman or a receiver or different positions, just because there's so much, you know, mental toughness and football IQ that goes into it rather than just kind of getting out there and doing it. So the quarterback process is a little bit different. It involves a little bit more of a conversation with their high school coach. A lot more of the character aspect goes into it as well. But you know, if you're trusted to play quarterback, it doesn't matter what class of school that you're at or where you're coming from. It normally means the coach trusts you. You have really good, you know, football IQ. People respect you, and just really feel like we can never go wrong with recruiting a high school quarterback. And then obviously there's, you know, a few that we truly recruit to be the guys, and you try and get those guys in early and get rolling with them a little bit.
Good stuff.
So with all those quarterbacks on the roster, any trick plays you've been calling out?
It's normally there's a red flag if we try and put 2 of them in there. We'll try and sneak them in a little bit. You try and put them on a special teams or something and try and disguise them a little bit. So, and we played, and luckily we had as many as we did this year. We played 3 of them just this year just because of injury. So it was kind of one of those years. You know, one of them was an older guy. He was actually, all of them but him, he was a 5th-year guy, but the rest of them were freshmen, redshirt freshmen, just younger guys. So, you know, when Kyle went down, it was kind of just piecing together next guys that were ready, and you know, a lot of it's trial by fire and just getting in there and playing. But you know, kind of on another note, our guys just did a really good job rallying around them, and that's what being a quarterback is about. You know, somebody that the team respects. You know, we'll play hard for, and it was definitely a challenge. You know, it wasn't like we played, you know, 1, 2, then 3, and that's the way we played 1, then 2, then back to 1, then 3, then 2. I mean, it was kind of all over the place. So, you know, I think competition's good. We've always kind of rotated 1 or 2 guys, and since I've been there, and I think, you know, always having to push yourself and compete in today's world is good, and they don't always appreciate it at the time, because, you know, everyone will tell you they're the guy, but it's just part of the process coming through, and yeah, playing 3. I'm glad we had as many as we did, because you know, we definitely needed it, but all 3 of those guys did a really good job for us.
Yeah, I know them bottom roster guys hate them rep situation in practice.
Oh yeah, it's you know, and we try and tell them, you know, when you come in as a true freshman, especially at the quarterback position, you know, if you're playing college football, it's, you know, playing your first year is almost unheard of at the quarterback position, you know, so you get in, get a couple reps. It's just more so about learning the offense, learning the terminology, and you know, it's the one position where, you know, if you have 6 running backs, probably 3 or 4 of them are going to play, or 5 of them are going to play at some point. But, you know, in an ideal world, you have 6 quarterbacks, and only 1 or 2 of them might play all year. So it is a little bit different, and I'm the one that gets to deal with a lot of the conversations and different stuff like that. But you know, we have a pretty good group of guys that deal with it a really good way, handle it a really good way, and but yeah, it's not always fun. It's not always fun, but as long as you're honest with them in the recruiting process, I feel like the rest just kind of handles itself.
Yeah.
You've been doing a lot of recruiting. Like last time I saw you, you said you've been out on the road a lot.
Yeah.
How's that been? Where have you been going? Like, do you have a specific area?
So me, I have, you know, in the state, being from here, I've always had here, you know, the Lynchburg area, out to Roanoke, and then all the way out to Dinwiddie. So like you know, 460 from pretty much Roanoke to Petersburg type area, and then everything south. So get into like Danville and Martinsville and those areas, and then out of state, I picked up Raleigh this year, which is cool and will help us a lot. You know, 'cause we just moved up Division II a couple years ago, so having scholarships makes it a lot more realistic to go and get some of those guys. So it's different, and it's a different kind of recruiting, because the best part for me coming home to Lynchburg, I get to, you know, see all my friends, stay with my parents, I get a home cooked meal and stuff,
Watch high school football games.
Fun. Go to high school football games. You know, I mean, I've known a lot of those coaches for a long time, which really helps. But now being, you know, scholarship ball, we can kind of expand our target area a little bit and go to some new places. So it's been good. You know, it doesn't matter what level you're at, Division I, II, or III. Right after the season ends, you get in the car and take off for a few weeks. So been living out of a suitcase for a while. So I'll be happy to get back in January and settle in a little bit.
Any big like hotbed areas for quarterback in that region? What favorite city?
Oh man, I don't know if I can say that. No, I think we've actually we've always gotten quarterbacks from the Roanoke area. I don't, you know, it's not necessarily because of we're biased towards it or anything. That's just kind of what we found. And actually, our, you know, guy I think is going to be a really good player for us is from Franklin County, and he was a freshman last year. You know, a lot of it can kind of depend on the type of offense you run and different things like that. So, you know, like Northern Virginia, I don't have that area, but they usually do a really good job with quarterbacks as well. And the Richmond area, so usually don't get a ton of again, I don't know why, we're not really, you know, biased towards any area, but you know, we'll take them from anywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
I was gonna say, kind of piggyback over that. What is the biggest difference in our area compared to like a Nova or Richmond, 757 or Dinwiddie, or even out of state? Like, what is the difference between like the competition level and like their football IQ, even size, really?
Yeah, I think, you know, the thing with Northern Virginia right now is I think the area is just growing so much that, you know, it's all 5 and 6A schools. So it's just bigger schools. What I really think about Lynchburg is unique is, and you always hear it, you know, we all heard it growing up because where we're from, but the Seminole District is just tough because everyone seems to be kind of on the same kind of wavelength as far as being really competitive every year, where in some other areas you'll have your normal, you know, kind of powerhouse teams, but I think around here, like, when we were growing up, it was almost a different team, every other year, and it would kind of go in waves. But every year, everything in Lynchburg is really competitive. So
Gritty. Seems like really gritty football.
yeah, it is. It's smash mouth football. It's hard nosed football. Even the teams that want to run spread and go fast and different stuff. There's still an aspect of just buckling your chin strap and playing tough with it too. So I think and I'm a little biased towards the area anyway, being from here. But I just think that the Lynchburg area, the Roanoke area is really just competitive, and everyone seems to be kind of on the same wavelength every year. And then when you get into different areas like Richmond or Northern Virginia, you have your bigger powerhouse teams, but every school is like 5 or 6A, so it's just a ton of kids, and there seems to be a little bit more like true player development that starts at a younger age, as far as quarterback coaches or trainers, different things I think that are more prominent in Northern Virginia, and that may just be because there's more people, up there in general. So you may see kids that progress a little bit faster in that area, but I mean, there's football players everywhere. There's really good football everywhere in the state. I mean, there really is. So it's just like I went to the state championship with Salem and Phoebus this year, in which they're
Great game.
vastly different, types of teams.
Completely different.
But it's from other sides of the state, and played different football against different teams all year, and they came, and it was a great game. And I left right before that last play, so I didn't see the last play that Phoebus won on. But it was I saw a video of it. It was pretty wild. But
Young quarterback out there throwing dimes.
Right.
Freshman quarterback, right?
Yeah.
On the radar.
I know. Yeah, he was balling for sure.
Yeah, definitely to piggyback on that. Like that's one of the things you asked. What's this podcast about? What was Elite Era about? We want to get those kids exposure that maybe don't have like the Northern Virginia quarterback coach, or can't make it out to these camps and this combine and such.
Right.
Like, this one of our biggest things. I like to get those kids from the corners, just exposure and connected.
I think a lot of that, which I mean, obviously that stuff is needed in society, just as far as helping everybody get exposure. But something that I think we do really well that some schools do, some schools don't, is our goal every spring is getting every school in the state of Virginia. We want to recruit Virginia, so our goal is to get those guys. Like if you do have, it might be a quarterback from a 1A school, that no one's ever heard of, but as long as you're in the school and you hear about that guy, then you'll find him. But if you just recruit off Twitter or do something, it's
you're gonna see the big guys. That's it.
Right. So, and we don't care. Like, and at Emory, we're not getting 4 and 5 star guys. I mean, that's not who we're recruiting anyway. So, for us, it's a lot about just being in all those schools, and we don't care if a guy's from Northern Virginia at a 6A school, or from Bedford County at a 2A school. Like, we don't care.
They can ball.
We just want football players. Yeah. So that's something I would. No one asked for my recommendation, but I recommend it to all colleges and different places. Just get in schools, dedicate yourself to an area, create relationships with coaches and people where, you're not going to miss on anybody. Everybody's getting a chance. If like I said, if you can ball, you can ball. Because I just really don't want it to turn into this thing where kids feel like they need to go to a different school to get recruited. So I don't know. I know there's some of that goes on, and I just don't think it needs to. If you can ball, it's going to show regardless, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially these days, people can find you.
Right.
Like your highlights are
going
to
that's out. What Twitter and social media is a great platform. To use. You just have to use it the right way. But I mean, I get 50 to 100 mentions a day just from kids, which is a lot to sort through. But that's good. Like we found kids from it. They may be going through a coaching change and they don't have a coach in their school to promote them, so kids can use that to really help themselves a lot when they use it the right way.
That's good stuff. So overtime rules, again, we did research on Emory Henry season.
8 overtime.
Yeah, 8 overtime against Newberry.
Man,
what did you learn from that game?
Did I have like 20 new gray hairs? No, I mean, as far as the rule, I think this was the first year that or the second year maybe.
2-point conversion.
Yeah, so after 2 overtimes, you go to, it's just straight 2-point conversion. So
What do you think of that?
I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, I'm way more biased towards college overtime than I am pro. I think it's cool. You know, I mean, everybody, you have a chance and you have a decision to make as a head coach. You know, in that first overtime, if you have 4th and 1, are you going to kick the field goal or try and, you know, finish it up? So I like it. I think it kind of brings it to a close a little bit quicker than if you were just lining up at the 25 every time. I would have loved to like watch that game as a spectator and not, you know, from my side, because obviously I didn't have much fun at all, you know, because it's stressful. But I think as a fan, I think it makes for good football. I mean, I really do. And I think we had one other, Tusculum was an overtime game that we won. I think that was all our overtime. But we've had like 1 or 2 every year. But I think college overtime's done right. I really do, and I like the new rule. I think it just kind of forces the issue and puts pressure on you to execute. You know, like for us, you know, for me, every game I have a call sheet of 5 2-point plays, like my top 2-point plays, which I use them all that night.
Sounds like you did.
But like, you know, the biggest thing I learned after that is, you know, you have to make critical situations a pivotal part of your preparation. You know, like you have to go over those things, and which is weird because what I found out is really that 2-point time turns into like trick plays and you know, everyone's doing a double pass or a pop pass or doing something like, and it's not the rule. You don't have to do that. You know, you can still line up and just run power and run, but nobody does it. Everyone throws double passes and motions and jets, and it's cool. I think it challenges people to get creative. So it definitely changed, you know, what my preparation with that is going to be moving forward. But it's a good thing we didn't need any 2-point plays the next week.
I ran them all through.
I didn't have any left, so we were flipping them. We were doing different things. It was nuts, but no, I think it's done right. I think it makes for an exciting brand of football for sure.
Good stuff. I see y'all got a pretty good schedule. Tusculum over there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Concord, always good. I mean, you blow them out, but
yeah, they're normally really solid. They were going through a coaching change this year.
UVA going through a coaching change.
Yeah.
Is your schedule next year going to get any tougher than it was this year?
Well, we have to play Lenore Ryan next year. That was one of the last 4 teams playing in D2, but. You know, for people that don't know about our conference, the South Atlantic Conference, it's legit. Like it's big boy football every week. There's normally 2 or 3 teams in the playoffs. Like it's big time football. So it's, you know, for us, those out of conference games, you know, we scheduled Concord and they're usually good every year. Tell you what, Bluefield State was a lot better than honestly we kind of imagined it would be. Honestly, they play really hard. They're a good football team. It's, you know, I'm biased, but I call it the SEC of, you know, D2, like our conference. It's brutal. I mean, it's teams that are consistently ranked, you know, at the top. Like Lenore Ryan's got a guy in the league that plays for the Patriots. Wingate's punter is the punter for the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had 4 or 5 guys that transferred up from different teams to D1 this year. Like it's big time ball. So for us to do what we've done, you know, just moving up and transitioning, it's been 2 5-6 seasons, but to get there and kind of be in the middle of the conference, you know, only having about half our scholarships out, it's tough to say you're happy with it, you know, as a coach. But I think we've surprised a lot of people, and we're a little ahead of where we thought we were going to be, and hopefully that helps in our recruiting and different stuff moving forward. But you know, next year it's pretty much the exact same schedule. A lot of stuff flipped, and now we have to play Lenore Ryan. So. We'll see, but we're continuously building and getting better. We only graduated 8 guys this year, so.
Yeah, do you see any guys like rising up, kind of becoming that leader role, like a Brandon Spikes to Urban Meyer type deal?
Yeah, no, I mean, for us in particular, we have, we lost some good kids and good players, but I think all of our true leaders are coming back, which is a blessing for us. Like our linebacker, Caleb Lundy's a freaking stud. He's a great leader. You know, we got a couple defensive linemen that are studs. Andre Crawley's a great leader for us. Charles Muddow's our quarterback a lot. He's a great leader. Our offensive line, I mean, like we have, you know, we're only losing one guy on the O-line. We'll have all of those guys, you know, all 4 of the guys coming back could be leaders for us. We had an all-conference slot receiver and kick returner for us that, you know, I tell them all the time, I'm glad that, you know, you're not 6'2" because you wouldn't be playing in Emory. So, I mean, he's a stud, and Cam's a great leader too, and he's a sophomore, you know, this year, and he was, you know, everyone quit kicking to him by week like 6. You know, he's just a really good player. We had a redshirt freshman, Cam Abshire, that was from the Roanoke area, from Northside, that was a really good player. Yeah, I mean, we're not, you know, we're losing our 2 backs that were really good players for us. But, you know, it was kind of, last year, it was kind of a leader by committee kind of deal, which I think is good because you have, you know, a lot of leaders, but I think next year there's going to be 3 or 4 guys that kind of step up and go out of their way to kind of take it to the next level because they'll be older and have played. You know, because a couple of those guys were transfers, and this was their first year playing for us, so you kind of try and skirt that line of, you know, have I earned these guys respect yet and played all that time? And I think they handled it the right way, but I think starting this spring, you know, those guys are a big part of our recruiting. You know, I mean, they're helping us recruit, and they want to be part of seeing the team grow. So, and they got to get comfortable because part of being a good leader, like you talk about, you know, spikes, it's, you know, holding your teammates to a standard.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not just being their friend. Like it's not just being, you know, being a good teammate is getting on the other players. Because at some point, you know, as a coach, at some point, you know, players always respect you, but there comes a time they need to hear another voice too. And
It's got to come from another player.
there's nothing like your teammate, you know, calling you out. That really puts it in perspective. So, but you just have to earn it before you do it. But you know, I think we got 4 or 5 guys that have definitely earned it, and are excited about the fact that they've earned it and ready to showcase that.
It's good stuff. It's really good stuff.
Do you model your play calling or your offensive coordinating after anyone in particular? You kind of doing your own thing?
My favorite is Lane Kiffin for sure.
Okay.
I'm not an old school like smash mouth kind of guy, and I'm not I've always liked Lincoln Riley, but we're not like a throw it 50, 60 times a game operation. We're a big RPO team, just like Lincoln Riley is. We like to, or just like Lane Kiffin is, and we like to play pretty fast and do a lot of similar stuff. And like I like
no huddle.
You know, yeah, we're no huddle. So
yeah, I was reading that.
I love a good no huddle when the quarterback's run it.
And we're just, you know, he's got. I think, you know, the word that comes to mind with him is like moxie. Like you can just tell he just doesn't. I mean, he doesn't care. He's gonna call what he wants to call and be different and do his own thing. So I think, you know, this was my 3rd year, I guess, really calling on my own because I was co-offensive coordinator for a couple. So, you know, I think this year I was really able to take some strides in that and start to kind of branch out. And it's good to be different, you know. You can keep your same principles and philosophy. You know, your core, your playbook has to be your core. You got to be really good at something, but then you just got to find a way to dress it up around it. So I've always thought a lot of Lane Kiffin. I've enjoyed, which, you know, he's a Twitter troll too. Like he's a character, but he definitely, you know, backs it up with his teams. And I think people like to play for guys like that, honestly.
Yeah, especially that young group.
Right. Right. And they, you know, when they see you running around and jumping around and having fun with it, you know, it settles them in and it lets you know that you're there to have fun too. Like at the end of the day, ball is still ball. I mean,
playing the game.
You know,
it's fun.
There's millions and millions of dollars on the line at the highest level. I mean, I get that, but I mean, at the end of the day, there's, you know, still 11 on 11. There's still one football.
Energy is a real thing, you know,
right?
Kind of carries.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, you got to have captains and leaders like we were talking about to carry that. But I think it's kind of underestimated the impact a coach can have. Coach can have on that. So I always try and do that. And, you know, sometimes I have to catch myself. You might be in the middle of a game and be frustrated. But, you know, if you have your head down, the players can see that. You know, they're smart enough to see that. So just trying to stay, you know, energetic. And it doesn't always have to be positive because it can be. if you're getting your butt kicked, it can't be positive. You just gotta have that energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, but he's definitely, Lane Kiffin's definitely a guy that I've always admired a lot.
Are you a sideline play caller? You're not up in the booth,
Yeah,
right?
so this year I decided that it may be better to try and go up to the booth, and I lasted I think 4 games.
I would hate that. I think I'd hate that. I want to be on the
So,
sideline.
It was cool, like as far as you can see a whole. It's like seeing a whole different deal, and it's cool, and I think it helps you. Like it helped me, like space myself from the emotions of the game.
Yeah.
So I thought it would help me be like more locked in, but like at the end of the day, I was like, the energy and the
you want the energy. You want
that's
the
what I love.
emotions.
And I don't know if that'll change as I get older. I
Yeah.
don't know. But yeah, I'm definitely like I think we operate better and gel better.
That's
when
you.
I'm
That's
down
just-
there, and you can, there's a difference in being able to, look your guys in the face and talk to them, rather than getting them to put on a headset or getting a coach to relay it, because ultimately they can tune that out. But when you're locked in, in their face, they really don't have a choice. So, but it's still. It's my job and I love it and I have a great job, but it's still fun to me. Like it's still a game. I feel like I'm not the one throwing or catching or blocking or running, but
you're responsible for it all.
It's just fun. There's times that I've made awful play calls and players made me look like geniuses, and there's times I make great play calls and players make me look like I don't know what I'm doing. So that's part of it too. And I've always thought as a coordinator, I probably make, 8 to 10 calls a game that really, truly, where I can win or lose a game.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, if we have 70 snaps, I think 60 of those, it's just if our guys are better than their guys and how they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, at the end of the day, ball is still ball. We're running a lot of the similar stuff that, you're going to see in the college football playoff. It's the same type of plays because you can only do so many things, right? I mean, like I said, it's still 11 on 11 and, but it's those different those special moments, those third down calls, and if you call it trick plays or tempo or different stuff that I think you can truly dictate a game. But no, when I'm down on the field, I feel a lot more like part of it. And, I enjoy it. It's a lot more fun. I was just trying to make sure that I wasn't doing it because it was fun. I didn't know if it would help us if I went up, but I think it definitely helped being down. And rotating all those quarterbacks this year is why I had to do it too.
No, I bet.
You got guys making their first start. That I think it's a comfort level for them, but me too. With me being down there, because you develop this relationship with your guys. That they feel a lot better with me talking to them than somebody else. And that's position based, but now definitely until further notice, I'll still be down on the field for sure.
That's the way I would have to do it.
For sure.
Good stuff. So, or just tell me what is the first thing that comes to your mind. Ready? All right.
It's like a speed thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
So the first thing is Division I AA.
Division I AA. Great brand of football that goes very under noticed and underappreciated. And I think what JMU has done is kind of shown that. And it's a great opportunity for football that a lot of players don't realize the opportunity that it is.
You think Emory could perk into that space?
I think it'd be a little farther down the road. We gotta settle our feet in where we're at right now. But you never know. You continue to grow. We're still a smaller school. Like we still have about 1,200 students. So we're still kind of got that D3 kind of base right now. So I think that's down the road.
I got you. A blowout victory.
Awesome. I don't know, fun.
The wing tee.
Don't start talking about the
Oh
league, too.
man. Stan River. Grayson Overstreet. Tough to stop. I mean, I think people that run it the right way, I don't know. Like I said, I'm different. That's not my cup of tea and what I believe in. But I know when we play a team that runs some form of the option or something, our defensive coordinator, has a very stressful week. So I think it puts a lot of stress on a defense to play sound football.
Yeah.
For sure.
What do you think of the wing team, Malik?
I think I think it's getting outdated. I don't think it can win when it's in that crunch time. Kind of got to spread, at least break it.
Yeah, I think it's, I think it's tough to, when you got, some offenses that you seemingly have some offenses that can just score at will, right? So,
Personnel base.
I think it, may be hard to keep up, but, and I'm not, a wing tee guru or nut or, we don't run that. But I think what it can do is, like for me, if we're playing a team that runs a wing tee or some form of option, it puts a lot more pressure on, I think, when I say me, like the offense to make the most of their drives, though. Because if you can kind of mess around and go 3 and out, you might not get the ball back for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Like we're used to getting 12 possessions a game, we might only get 7.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've definitely had the thoughts of, I think it's, maybe hard to win at the highest level with it for sure. But I mean, that's what I believe, and I didn't see the game, but I think, who else he hit? I think Lafayette, or they ran it for him too. So you can get far. It's just, it's gonna be hard to come from behind with it. I mean, that's just the reality. But if your scheme fits it, I think at the end of the day, you got to do what fits your scheme the most.
It's good stuff. Reddit.com.
That's random.
We shifted away from football.
Yeah.
Opinionated source.
Okay.
I don't know. Different.
Last one is a bumblebee.
Bumblebee.
Just general questions.
Brookville.
Just general questions.
Brookville Bees for me. Comes to mind, I would say.
Okay.
Was that 5?
That was 6.
6.
Yeah.
Tell me for an extra one.
What how's your head coach? What's he like?
He has given me every chance I've ever had at the college level. So really appreciative of him. He's he's more old school, just being an older guy, but he was at Virginia Tech, he was at JMU, coaching there for a long time. So he's definitely been around the block, and I think for us, what works a lot of times is our offensive staff is relatively young. I mean, I'm 27, our running back coach is 28, our tight ends coach is 24, like he just graduated, receiver coach is like low 30s. So, I think he still kind of has, that, I guess, veteran type of.
Kind of grounds everybody.
Yeah. So, no, he's been great to me, my whole time there. And like I said, he's given me every opportunity that I've had. So I'll forever be thankful and grateful towards him.
Nice. Head coaching aspirations for you in your career?
For sure.
Anywhere? I know you're enjoying your time there, though.
Anyway.
Not rushing you out of that.
No, I think at any level of football, I think I would love to be a head football.
Not all offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators can be head coaches.
Correct.
Do you think you're built for it, though?
I think so. Honestly, I've always thought my whole life I'd be a better head coach and coordinator.
Okay, that's fair. Some people are like that.
I have, because I know people that are position coach or coordinators, all they ever want to be is a position coach or coordinator.
And some people should absolutely.
And they should probably stay in that role.
Yeah.
Because it's different. It's just a bigger picture kind of deal. And I don't know if it's how I was born. My dad has his own business. Like,
I think it's how you're born.
It's been like dealing with bigger picture, grand scheme of stuff,
Vision. This is the vision.
Now I say that I think it would be really hard for me to be a head coach and have a different offensive coordinator. So I'd probably have to call it on my own.
I like when the head coach is offensive coordinator.
So
like the little McVay.
No, definitely. I would love to be a head coach, and I think it's just putting the time in and just learning the whole thing, because you never know as much as you think you do.
That's
sure.
A lot. I can't imagine being
So
all the structure
and
everything.
there's a lot that goes into it. But if you don't call the offense or the defense, it also game day can be. I guess it's not more relaxing because you obviously still have stress.
Use your timeouts right.
In which the thing about being a coordinator or a coach or a head coach is, and if you lose, everyone's going to say you're wrong anyway. So I think a lot of it, like my time at Emory, just made me more comfortable and confident in myself, my decision making, and knowing that my job isn't to make everybody happy. My job is to try and win football games, and that will always be, my job, to develop young men, help them become better people, in addition to good players and win football games. So, but yeah, definitely. I mean, that's always been the end goal. That's never changed. Would love to be a head football coach for sure. When the timing's right, it's got to be the right school, right spot. Because I want to do it the right way. So, not in a rush, but also not shying away from an opportunity either.
You'll feel the moment when it comes.
Yeah,
It'll be right.
It's all got to be the right fit. So, like I said, there's nothing worse than rushing into it, because then you may miss that chance. If you don't do it the right way. So, I just want to do it the right way, and you got to build a good staff, and it's a million pieces that go into it, just like anything. I mean, being a boss or starting a podcast or doing different stuff. I mean, starting a business. I mean,
You're bad at first.
There's always, it's just figuring it out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the first little while is just getting grounded, putting in the hours that you're not going to work a 9 to 5. Like being a head coach is just like owning your own business. Like the 9 to 5 is the most relaxing time.
No,
It's like the weekends and the nighttime and the stuff where all your buddies are, out at the bar having a couple beers.
and you're judging on performance too.
Doing something. It's like, look, and there's nothing against people that work 9 to 5. I'm very jealous of them sometimes. I wish I could turn my mind off and like go enjoy myself. But at the same time, there's like,
some people just can't do it.
There's moments in whatever you do. Like for me, it's on Saturdays. There's nothing like it being down there in the field and calling plays. Like it's just, I got the best job in the world. So like it makes it all worth it. But then on Wednesday night at 11 p.m. you're just like,
Mine's still working.
what am I doing? You know what I mean? So, but I mean, I think there's a lot of similarities in that, and I think it's a lot, but it's worth it at the end though. If you got your mind in the right spot, you got the right goals, right visions, I think it's all worth it for sure.
I mean, I can't think of anything more exciting than being involved in sports.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
can't
awesome,
think of
man.
anything better than
always
that.
find a way, no matter what you are. No matter what you are, man. It's sports. Again, I'm biased. Sports run the world. I mean, politics have to run it, I guess, but sports are much more peaceful than politics. So I'll stick in my lane, there. So for sure.
So Elite Era Top 80 Camp, April 13th. Rain date is April 27th. We're still ironing out the details, but we're thinking like 15 schools, 4 position, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, offensive line. Top 80, 20 guys in each position doing one-on-ones, the camp combine type deal. Formally inviting you, anyone who can get to come.
Yeah. No, I mean, man, I've seen, there's stuff like that kind of popping up all over the place, and the biggest thing is just exposure and getting. I mean, anytime for like for me as a coach, anytime I can get, whether it's the top players in the area or not, you get players together rather than going, for me driving, having to drive to
Here, there,
like,
everywhere.
right, from Rustburg to Alta Vista to Heritage to, like all over the place. I can get all those people in one spot. I think that stuff's great. So
I'm glad you think that way, because that's how I was thinking, kind of putting all this together.
yeah. And for me, which I mean, I think you guys are in it for the right reason. It's just being in it for the right reason.
Help kids.
Right. It's not charging. You got people that do these mega camps that are like $300 for like 2 hours, and it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, we
It's
got
just different, and I probably should have asked y'all what y'all were charging or what y'all were doing before I said
No, you made
that,
it sound
but-
pretty good on that.
Yeah, for 2 hours.
I'm serious. So like
We're looking at all day. I mean, lunch, video work, exposure, kind of leadership development.
all types of stuff, man.
I think it's
Jam-packed
like,
8-hour
like I
day.
said, it's the same way with kids and recruiting as far as marketing it. If you get it out there, I mean, there's going to be coaches that come. Like even if it's not a bunch of D1 schools, there's the Division III football in the state of Virginia. And I'll stand on the table for that as well, and hopefully kids understand that there's nothing wrong with playing Division III football.
I've heard that so many times. I've heard
Like
it.
I really do. Like the difference, and when we moved from D3 to D2 is literally like the guy weighs 10 more pounds. Like, it's really not. The top level is a little bit different,
Yeah.
but like it's Division III is really, really good football. Like I still tell people to this day, like I don't want to schedule Randolph Macon. Like it's just the ODAC is really a really good conference, and I think that recruiting as a D3 coach, it was always frustrating because I don't think kids fully understand, and it's not like a D3 school's coming in and taking everyone on your team. They're still going to signal you out because you're a really good football player, and the reality is what the transfer portal is doing to football. The schools at the highest level aren't taking as many freshmen, and that may, it all may circle back through after COVID years and different stuff with eligibility. But, I think people need to be a whole lot more realistic and open to the opportunity of just having a chance to go play ball. And it might not be on a full scholarship. It might not be on a partial scholarship, but I'm telling you, there's, especially the coaches at the D3, those guys are in it because they love it, and you're going to get a lot out of them as a player too. Because D2, D3, even 1AA, we ain't making the money that you see, these coaches signing multi-million-dollar deals for, which is great for them. And that's why those, coaches make that, because you go through this process where, you're just doing it because you love it to develop people. So, no, I mean, as many schools that you guys can get there, I think it's great. And if you guys are going to record it, posting the videos, doing different stuff, I just think giving kids an opportunity to showcase their talent against other people in the area, right? Because again, I can see the top guy at this school versus the top guy at that school running one-on-ones or something. I think that's great, and finding ways rather than just running routes to develop them. Doing drill work, doing combine work, doing leadership stuff, like y'all were saying, or honestly, something I would do. I always thought kids should have some sort of class on how to talk to college coaches.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'll go in and see this kid that'll just sit there,
professionalism, yeah,
just like this the whole time. And he may be super interested in me, but when he sits there like this, I'm probably crossing that kid off because I don't think he's interested. It doesn't make him a bad kid. Mm-hmm. But when a kid smiles, it might be fake, but when he smiles and shakes my hands and says yes sir and he's eye contact, because even I try to be really good with eye contact, but I don't lock in the whole time I talk. I'm all over the place. Yeah. But when a kid truly seems vested in it, that increases his stock. He becomes a better player in my eyes when I have a good visit. I don't think people understand that's part of the reason that coaches visit.
You got to see personality.
Your film doesn't change from the time I walk into the school to walk out. Nothing changes. Yep. What your coach says about you doesn't change. It's not just the first time I meet you. It's every time I see you, I want to see who you really, really are, right? How you're dressed. Not that you got to wear a shirt and tie to school, but do you seem like a presentable kid? Are you going to be someone that's valuable to our program? Stuff like that I think isn't. I think some high school coaches do a great job at coaching their kids on that, but not everybody does. Mm-hmm. So, if you're going to have them all day, I think that stuff's just great. And it's not like it's rocket science, you need a college coach there to explain it. It's just literally just telling them how important it is. And it doesn't matter if it's Virginia Tech, if it's Emory and Henry, if it's Randolph-Macon or Hampton-Sydney. When a college coach comes in your building, they are judging everything that you're doing, right? So, I think that's another area that'd be great to,
especially if they can.
Well. Right.
Especially if they can. Yeah, a lot of that communication is nonverbal.
Right. Exactly. Because again, it's just presentation and being able to, like I said, even if it's a fake smile, eventually I'm gonna see the true colors anyway. But everybody has bad days, but we all also be professional. So being able to at least muster up the energy to be presentable and, invested in what's going on, I think means a lot, honestly. Yeah, it does to me.
Yeah, you gotta have a good personality. Right. Exactly. Anybody we sign, I kind of want them to be you're a great football player, but are you a good person as well?
Absolutely.
So I think that's absolutely huge. And I love what you said about the fringe players, giving them a chance, giving them an opportunity. Right. If we can get one guy who maybe isn't going to go to college, right, and they come out and we get them connected, they go to camp, whatever it is, and then they're playing D3, D2. Who knows what happens to them after that? You hear the stories all the time.
Oh, and I don't know if I should say this or supposed to say this, but like as long as you go and play college ball now, there's a chance you can move up anyway.
Mm.
Just get your foot in the door and just telling
like,
people.
For me, my opinion, like if we look at kids transferring, game film means way more to me than it does practice film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's Division 1, 2, or 3. It's playing college football. So kids can do whatever they want. I mean, find somewhere that's home and find a good school. If you're fine, you know, just if you got a dream school and you want to be there whether you're playing or not, go. But if your number one goal is playing, you know, you got to fill that recruiting process out. You know, and just I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that regret just not playing in college. You know, but it's just hearing coaches out, and you know you may be an offer kid for a Division 1 school and not for a Division 2 school. Like there's no math, there's no science behind it. There's no true like even all the star stuff. Like there's no true like science behind it. So
At the end of the day, a coach is making a decision.
When just just like the kids gotta make a decision on the coach. Like he's got to determine whether you know he likes me and he would want to play for me.
But a lot of these kids don't really have that kind of person in their life to help them through that process, especially recruiting. So that's where Lear kind of comes in as that catalyst,
Right.
that middleman to kind of guide them through that process. Even like the transfer portal, I think we got Keenan Cupid coming in on the 28th.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of talk to him about how he's doing with the transfer
Definitely
process.
drops his school.
Yeah,
right
what
there.
that looks like. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah. No. I mean, I think it's just you know the job of a high school coach is ginormous in that too, right? Like that's part of to me because that's hard for a parent because a lot of parents haven't been through that.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do it. But to me, it's just being educated on, you know, what the process looks like and what college football looks like and who. Just I've always said, try and find a feel for who really wants you, you know, versus who you know you want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like who really needs you and wants you versus who's offered you or who's talked to you. You know, so but it's just about finding a fit. I mean, we've gotten kids that had PWOs to D1 schools that have come to us. We've gotten kids that we you know offered full scholarships to, and they go D3 because they got a better fit, and that's great. Like you should go where you feel like home is for sure, in my opinion.
I really do. Yeah. How's the campus? How's
Right.
how's the school? Does it have your
Like-
major?
Like if you're a big homebody, you know, and you're trying to decide between playing D2 ball or your D1 offers in like you know California and you're from Virginia, you're probably not going to enjoy it in California even though it's D1. You know, just I don't know. I just always encourage kids to go on visits, just try and find home, be realistic about the process, and you know, just imagine in your mind if something like COVID happened again, will you be happy at that school? Like, don't make it just based off of football, you know, that whole aspect. So there's a lot that should go into it, and I think there's a lot of education that needs to be given to high school kids and now kids that are transferring. I mean, that's a part of football now. That's a reality that's not going anywhere. You know, I think it's a shame you see a lot of kids go in the portal and don't end up anywhere. That's what's really not talked
That's
about.
tough.
Right, like you see that the quarterback from Oklahoma transferred to Oregon. Like you see all that stuff, but there's a lot of transfers that don't get picked up, and now they burned a bridge where they transferred from. So you know, there needs to be more education on that. I think for the sake of the kids.
Same. What do you think about like kids doing like top 3, top 5, top 10 schools? Think that's kind of like burning bridges, or
No,
Clout. There's a lot of clout, right?
I don't. Kids can do what you feel like you need to do. I mean, I think enjoy the process of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you've earned, again, it goes back to doing it the right way. I think there's a right or wrong way you can do it. I think people have always done it. I think if that's how you want to make your decision, that's great. If you want to make your decision by just calling a coach and not even posting it on social media, do you? You know, I think you've earned that right to get multiple opportunities. And like for me, when a kid calls me and says, I I'm going to narrow it down to these 4 schools, and you guys really aren't one of them. There's nothing I can do about that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you appreciate
telling me
that,
rather than
please.
you sitting here saying like, yeah, coach, I'm coming on a visit, come on a visit, and now I see a post that these are your top schools or whatever. So I just think communication, as long as you go about stuff the right way. Again, I think you've earned that right to go through your recruiting process, recruiting cycle.
Respectable.
How are your feelings on NIL? And is any of that going on at the D2 level that you've seen so far?
Yeah, it's it's there. It's not it's not like it is the highest level. Like,
I think it's probably better, honestly. You probably have more true, more.
For me, and I don't know. I don't have the best opinion on it really yet.
Mm-hmm.
Just because again, I don't really have to deal with it. We haven't had kids, coach from our team.
And that was
We're
never
in
the
different
point,
places,
in my
and that wasn't
opinion.
the point.
It was like you pay a kid to go into the local burger joint, eat a burger.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's about. It's not, hey, let me shell out
Right.
$100,000 just to come here. It's like a transfer. Like, hey, I'll give this kid a car from my dealership, and they'll promote my dealership. It's like that's an exchange, and then now it's just
I think the reason why it started is a good idea, and I get the premise behind it, and just kind of like anything, and people take advantage of it. And it's gotten a little out of control, but it's just the reality of football now. So we don't have a lot of it at our level. That'll probably change in a couple of years. I mean, I think you see it at the high school level now too. So
that's crazy.
It's a part of life, so it's just adapting to it, and as long as just trying to keep kids doing stuff for the right reason. But at the end of the day, it's money may be the right reason for some people. So, but I'm probably not the best to ask on that, just because we don't have a lot of it going on at our level. If any D2 schools have it, it's usually just 1 or 2 guys or something like that. So it may be something that continues to grow.
I think that's good. At least it like reels it in, and it's not something out of control. It's like, hey, these are good deals that are interactions that are happening, that are good for both parties. That's the big thing. Like, is it good for both parties?
Right.
Is it fair?
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For sure.
Super Bowl prediction.
Niners. Honestly, I'll probably say Niners over the Ravens. That's pretty basic because they're both in first right now.
We'll take that.
I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm a Dallas fan, so I go through it every year. Niners. I just think Niners are the most complete team in football. The Bills are scary if they get in though. I mean, Josh Allen can keep you in and take you out of a game in a heartbeat. So, depending on which one you get, it's hard to count out the Chiefs just because they're at quarterback. But I think what Baltimore's doing, like what they did to Jacksonville the other night, when they're running the ball like they are in their defense, they're tough to beat. But I guess they play this week, I think.
Yeah,
so,
it's Christmas night.
Christmas night, so we'll see. So that's probably a little vanilla prediction, but I said that a couple weeks ago. That's kind of what
pretty valid one.
What I think will happen. I think Ravens football pairs well with the cold weather. Lamar's just kind of got to, I guess, make those defining moments in the playoffs. So.
As long as it's not raining.
Yeah. Well,
It's okay. We can play in the rain.
right.
That run game plays.
Are y'all Baltimore fans? Are y'all both Baltimore fans?
Yeah.
You Lamar fan?
Yeah,
Big
that's
Lamar.
why I switched over. Redskins, Commanders, they're bad for your health.
Yeah, try being a Cowboys fan. It's bad for your health too.
Oh, your hopes go up high too, and then crushed,
telling
and
you,
then
it's-
up, and then down.
But no, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting though. The AFC's wide open, so
Ton of parity this year. It's
that's
crazy.
fun. Because Miami can score with anybody at any moment.
That's a New Year's Eve Miami-Baltimore
So-
game. You might see me there. You might see me at that one.
Ladera, shout out.
Yeah, shout out Elite Era.
Little TV time.
Yeah, get Lamar in a shirt.
Elite Air official merch.
Lamar might be a decent one to try and get.
He's got his brand. He actually has a brand. God, it's like
Alright.
Era 8 apparel. So very similar to Elite Era 8 apparel. Yeah, so shout out Lamar. We want to collab. Get us something. We'll turn our logo purple. I'm all good.
Yeah,
Good to go.
definitely. Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on, BeCraft.
No, I appreciate y'all, man.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it very
Yeah,
much,
man.
bro.
We'll have to make it out. We'll have to make it out to a game. Make
Come
sure
on,
it
man.
goes.
It's good.
Make sure it goes 8 overtimes.
It's good, dude.
So I get my money's worth.
If I get another 8 overtime game, I'm gonna be bald.
Let me call one of the plays.
Man, you can go ahead. At that point, by the 8th overtime, I mean, it's like playing Madden at that point.
No, I figured it was almost.
Talk about that belly for a verse on here.
You know what? I want to have like a TV on here so we can pull up that whole Liberty game.
Malik's down there somewhere.